Bonjour, y'all. This is Miss K. Today we're going to be making some ravioli. A few years ago in France, I was fortunate enough to learn how to make pasta from one of our relatives. Now, before you're over there saying, why do I want to learn how to make pasta from an old French guy? Our family has Italian origins, so essentially, they're Italian. But I digress. The recipe I was given was a bag of this flour, which is farine pour le gâteau. This is cake flour, and it actually has some leavener in it. Eggs, a glass of oil, and by glass, he literally got out a glass like this and filled it with oil, and then enough water to make it a dough based on the hydration of your flour that day. So that makes quite a lot of pasta. I'm not trying to make that much today. I'm going to make a pumpkin pasta because my best friend gave me a beautiful piece of Castilla pumpkin and I wasn't sure what to do with it, and I decided pumpkin ravioli might be the way to go. I took that pumpkin and sliced it in 4 pieces and then roasted it in a 425-degree oven until it was tender. Then I peeled it and put it in this container. I'm going to use part of it for the ravioli filling. We'll use the other part of it to make a soup. If you're interested in the soup video, I'll link it below. Now the portions for the smaller recipe differ a little than the original one that I was given, but essentially you start by putting your flour on the bench, adding your eggs and oil to the center. I also add a little bit of salt. And then we're going to mix it together with our hands, little by little. I like to slightly beat my eggs before I add them to the center. I just feel like it helps it to incorporate faster. You'll want a neutral oil for the oil, so something flavorless like a vegetable oil, a sunflower oil, or maybe even a light olive oil. Now don't be afraid to get in there with your hands right away. I kind of get it going with the fork first. And if I were you, before I put my hands in here, I'd take off my rings. Trust me. Honestly, I don't know what the point of me using that fork was, because this is going to get really messy before it makes something. You're going to be thinking, what am I doing? I'm just making a mess. This isn't going to be anything. But just keep working it. I promise it'll come together. Just have patience. A bowl scraper or a bench scraper can be useful here to help you gather it back up. You can see mine in the corner there, that yellow plastic thing. At this point, I have worked in as much of the flour as I can, and it's starting to get dry. On the side, I have a small container of warm water that I'm going to slowly start incorporating. You can dip your hand in there, you can just sprinkle some on, or, you can spray it. However works best for you. But you just want to add a little at a time because we just need enough water that this becomes a smooth dough. I know this is tedious to watch, but from start to finish, this took me about 8 minutes. So you can do it. Just take your time, enjoy the moment, and meditate a little bit on something as you're kneading this dough. I find it very therapeutic. It's so satisfying when it becomes a smooth dough. Round it off into a smooth ball and then cover it. I like to just flip the bowl over on top of it. And we're going to let it rest because that gluten is tight. Next, we'll move on to the filling. So now we've left precision and moved on to fake it till you make it. I put about a cup of this roasted pumpkin in a bowl and then mashed it. As you can see, butter knife is not the way to go. You need to use the potato masher. Right now this has the consistency of, say, a cooked spaghetti squash, although the strings are much smaller. If you want it super smooth, then I would suggest blending it, but I don't care. This is fine for us. Next, we'll want to season this. I used nutmeg, salt, and pepper, just seasoned to taste, and some Parmesan cheese, I'm using a combination of grated and shredded Parmesan here. We're also going to grate in a clove or two of garlic. I'm grating it because I don't want to run into any chunks. You can chop it up if you'd like. You could use the powder, but I think this is what tastes the best and we don't get any big chunks. Finally, we'll add an egg to bind it all together. Now, if I had been smart, I probably would have drained my pumpkin because this was kind of a wet filling, but it ended up working out in the end. It's time to get out the heavy equipment. This is my pasta machine. I've had it for a long time. If you end up getting one of these, it'll last you a lifetime if you take care of it. If you don't have one, you could attempt to roll this out, but bring your strong arms. This thing is pretty basic. You clamp it down to the side of your table or your counter, and then you put the crank in, and it has 3 different rollers. The flat roller is to roll out your pasta, and then there's 2 cutters that mine has. Different models come with different cutters. Again, I have a very basic one. So basically, you want to start out with a small piece of dough like this. Keep your other dough covered so it doesn't dry out. And then we're going to feed it through the rollers. Turn your dial to the largest setting and feed it through. Dial down to the next setting and feed it through again. You're going to do this a lot of times until you get it as thin as you'd like it. I'm going all the way down to the last setting. Making pasta isn't hard, it's just very tedious and there's a lot of steps. But if you're willing to work through it, you're left with a tasty treat. I like to make a lot of these at the same time in large batches, and then I freeze them so I have them for later. It's also cheaper and better for you than the frozen stuff you can buy already made, so why not? Treat yourself sometimes. So this is my last pass through, and then we're gonna fill the ravioli. Here's one sheet ready to be filled, and it's great if you have a helper. They can fill this while you roll out some more dough. What? You thought I had a helper? Nope, it's just me. You don't want this to dry out before you fill it because we need it to stick together so that we can close the ravioli. I'm using like a 2 teaspoon scoop here. It's like the smallest scoop I can find. Less is more. You don't want your filling to explode when you boil it, so you don't want to overfill these. Leave some gaps in between because we're going to fold this over and close it, and we need the dough to stick together. The gap you see here is because there's a hole in my dough and I don't want to put any filling there. I'll just cut that away and re-roll it out to make another ravioli later. Now that I've got filling down the length of my pasta, I'm just going to fold this over. If your dough won't stick, just wet your finger and run it between the filling so that it will stick together. That's what I'm doing here. To cut them apart, I'm using a pastry wheel. If you don't have one of these, you can use a knife or a pizza cutter. They would both work. This kind of looks like a pizza cutter, but it has like a zigzag edge. It just kind of helps seal it off. Any excess pieces can just be put back together with the rest of the dough and rolled back out. Now this one on the end, he refused to close, so I just started folding it over. It's going to be ugly, but it's still going to taste good. As I finish these, I am placing them on a cookie sheet with a silpat on it. You could use something that was covered with parchment as well. This is just so it doesn't stick, because I'm going to stick this in the freezer, let them freeze flat, and then I'll put them in a baggie. While I'm slaving away, it's a great time for you to like and subscribe. If you've enjoyed this video, share it with a friend. Join us on the Facebook group, and check out some of my other videos for more adventures in the kitchen. Once these are completely frozen, we're going to bag them up. It'll take a couple of hours. Make sure you label your freezer bags. We've done all this hard work. We don't want this getting lost in the freezer and then you find it in a couple months and you don't remember what it was. And you can see with the Silpat, they peel right off. Now it's the day before Halloween and I've pulled these out of my freezer because I'm ready to eat pumpkin ravioli. I'm going to make a brown butter sage sauce with this, and it's really easy. You just need sage and butter. The first thing I did was melt my butter and brown it, and you just keep cooking it until you start seeing these brown bits, and then we're going to add in the sage to fry it. See these yummy brown bits? That's what you want, but not black. Black is bad. I've washed my sage and wrapped it in a paper towel because I don't want it splattering all over me so that it's dried off, and then I'm just going to drop it in. When it gets just how we want it, nice and brown, we're going to take it off the heat and wait for the pasta. We're cooking the pasta from frozen, so you're just going to heat up water and salt like you would for regular pasta, and then we're going to drop the frozen ravioli in. I'm not sure how long this took, but you'll know they're done because they'll kind of change color. Okay, they're going to float right away, so you can't use that float test to see that they're done. You're just going to have to stir them every now and then if you're not sure, pull one out and test it. When they're ready, you want to drain them as completely as you can and then add them into that beautiful brown butter sage sauce we made a moment ago. I'm using a slotted spoon, and in retrospect, I probably shouldn't have done this. I probably should have used the colander like I normally do, because I got too much water in my sauce. Look at it. It's a wet, sloppy mess. But that's okay. I'm just going to turn the heat up and cook out some of that water. As a final touch, I'm adding some cheese on top. This is a pecorino romano. You could use a parmesan like we put on the inside. Whatever fits your fancy. You're going to have to enjoy this shot of it because I forgot to take a picture of it on the plate. Trust me, it's delicious. Atab! I hope you enjoyed making these pumpkin dishes with me. We've got ravioli and soup, so we have two separate dishes from just what was probably a quarter of a pumpkin. So I hope you enjoyed this. What would you have made with it? Let me know in the comments. And check out this next video that YouTube has picked out for you. Bon appetit! Au revoir!